First of all, good day, everyone. I hope you are all doing well and that you're ready for our webinar and today's topic. So, thank you for being here today with us. Today, I would say that we have a very interesting topic because we are officially presenting our new partner program, and for the first time, and also for the first time in this format. Today, you will find out what our partner program is, what it actually represents, what benefits it brings, and as well what it is new compared to how we used to work previously. Also, we will explain why it is good to be part of this program. And of course, we will explain also technical aspects of this program because that's also, I would say, very, very important. Partner program itself and its benefits will be represented by our CEO, Darko Pavic, while the technical aspects will be presented and explained by our co-founder and board member, Roland Zaliszewski. Both of them have over 20 years of experience when we talk about field of fiscalization, and I will say that they know everything that is important from that point of view, both for post software vendors and for retailers themselves. So I would like to once again say hello to each of you. And at this very beginning, I would just like to introduce you to our company, Fiscal Solutions. I believe that most of you who are here with us today already knew what we do, but maybe for those who are with us for the first time, I would just like to say a few more words. So, Fiscal Solutions has existed for 20 years, and Fiscal Solution is one of the leaders when we talk about fiscalization software. The company has over 70 clients in more than 27 countries around the world, and we also know Metaverse. So, what sets us apart from other companies is that we have expertise in three fields, and that will be legal, technical, and retail. Also, I would like to say that we always try to be innovative, fast, efficient, and that we are constantly searching and working on new projects and new solutions. And of course, you will find out more about that later today at this webinar. What is also important to mention at its very beginning is that you can freely leave us a comment and any questions in chat box, and eventually at the end we will provide answers to all your questions. Of course, if we don't get time to answer all the questions, you don't have to worry because we will send them all to you by email as soon as possible. So after this short introduction, it's time that our CEO, Darko Pavic, explain everything about the partner program. So Darko, the stage is all yours.
Thank you so much. Thank you for this great introduction. We will talk today, of course, a little bit more in detail about the program itself, but we will focus on the technology and the functionalities too. And this part will be done, as Philip just mentioned, by Roland, my good friend and one of the co-founders of the company. My part is to inform you about our new partner program called It's Time to Grow Together. As the name actually says, the focus of the partner program is your growth. My target for today is actually to show you how do we want to reach that? How do we want to achieve that you are growing with our help, of course. Let me give you some facts first about us, additionally to those that Philip just did in the beginning. Existing since 20 years, of course, but we are always just focused on the retail. as we started 20 years ago, and today we never left that path. So we are on the path to master the retail itself, and of course, in particular, the technology around the retail, mostly oriented on the store, point of sale, and then specialized on the fiscalization. This is our field of competencies, let's say. We have actually two types of the customers. These are the retailers, of course, as end users, but POS vendors as well. So you are, or most of you are POS software vendors. So this means you are the company that is actually integrating our solution. And now I'm already talking about the strategy that we had before this plan and this program was created. Our strategy was actually to create the solution for the problem that we know as a fiscalization. So we just focus on the solution. And this is great, of course, because if you have a problem and you have a solution, this is perfectly fine. But as of today, it's not enough anymore. It's great to have the solution, but the best solution is not helping you if the POS software vendor cannot grow with that. If the POS software vendor is able to solve the solution, it's just a part of the business. The second part is actually to sell that solution together with own POS solution. We understood that. And of course, we focused then on that additional value that we want to provide. And this is what we called today, it's time to grow together. It's actually the new focus. It's a shift of the mindset that we had. So the POS software vendor is not anymore the user and the customer of our solution, but it's actually the partner that we are helping to grow. If you grow as a POS software vendor, we will grow. And this is actually the shift that we created. But in order to define the details of that partner program, we had to dig deep into the detail about what makes actually POS software successful in today's international markets. And we actually identify 4 elements. The first key success, or the first key for your success as a POS software vendor, is actually the innovation. I'm totally sure that you are under the pressure to innovate because your customers, the retailers, are under pressure to innovate. The consumers are demanding the innovation on the retailer side. So this means the POS software has to be on that way that the innovation is possible. But the innovation is not possible if the architecture is not really fitting to the requirement of innovation. So this means in order to be able to innovate, your POS software has to have a future-proof or proven architecture. The third point that we identify is actually flexibility to cover many different retail concepts. As of today, the retailers are growing, of course, in the different directions, and we can call it different dimensions of growth of the retailer. One dimension or direction would be towards new market segments. The discounters are suddenly selling, for example, insurances, and they are getting more and more something else, going more and more into the different fields and market segments of the retail. If the POS software is not able to follow that new retail concept, we can talk about self-checkouts, mobile devices, and so on. But if POS software is not able to follow that, the retailer will simply look for the alternatives. And the fourth key argument or key success factor is, of course, the globalization. The retailers are growing also more and more internationally. And if they are forced to search for the new POS applications in all those new markets, it's a simply not good way for them. And it's, of course, not good for you as well. If I'm talking about globalization, I'm basically talking about enabling retailers to grow with your application. And to be able to do that, you have to meet the requirements of the local markets, of the countries that are target, let's say, of those expansions of the retailers. And if we are talking about requirements, local requirements, we have to talk about tax-related laws, and by that, about the fiscalization. We cannot help you regarding architectures because actually it's in your hand 100%. We cannot help you regarding the features that your software has because you have to develop it for sure, or regarding flexibility of your solution to cover different retailing concepts. But where we can help you, this is related to the globalization. we can help you to become a truly global player by eliminating, let's say, the problems of the fiscalization. Okay, so this is clear. There are 4 elements, 4 key success factors that we can or we have to support, and we can have to help you. One of them is the most important for us. This is globalization. But what does it mean actually if we go deep into the detail? Here are some of the points which I will discuss now in a couple of seconds, which are part of our partner program and which we see as a very important to enable you to be global player. First, you have to have a knowledge about the markets that you want to conquer. You have to know what are the requirements of those countries that are interesting, let's say, for your customers. Even if you know that there is something, that there are some requirements that you have to fulfill, you will be forced to make the decision, do you want to develop by yourself or do you want to take the solution which is existing on the market? I can recommend to take the existing solution because this will make you faster. But if you do that, if you take the existing solutions, then you need solution which is reliable and which is enabling you to innovate. Don't forget those 4 factors which I discussed in the beginning. So the solution that you are using has to be innovative enough to enable you to innovate. Of course, even the best solution is not that good if you are not able to integrate with that solution with smallest possible efforts. This is definitely a requirement for any partner program. And of course, to reach that, you need something where the clear separation between POS-related functionalities and local requirements is defined and existing. If the solution is offering that, the clear separation between POS or business-related functionalities and fiscal or local requirements, you will be able to develop less, of course, because your core of the application is not needed to be touched, and you will be able to maintain this solution much easier. Please think for a second about maintenance, because if you have to touch the core of your application in each of the countries that you are expanding to, if you have to maintain that, this can be a really, really high effort job. And by that, of course, the huge investment and operational costs, let's say, through the years. But even if you have the solution, as we have, of course, which is part of our partner program, you still need somebody who will help you, let's say, to monitor the changes on those global markets, which are actually happening frequently. If you do that by yourself, you will need resources which you put on that task, let's say, and focus them to check the markets and to monitor them. In the partner program which we are offering, the monitoring of the markets, of course, it's a part of the partner program, and not just monitoring, but informing you on time about the changes on the market as well. That's fine. Okay, so I was talking in the moment about knowledge and about the solution. I told you you need the knowledge and you need a great innovative solution. Fine. But all that you can forget if you are not able to sell that. And in order to sell that, actually, you need 2 topics which are very important. First, you need a flexible pricing. All of us know exactly that it's not enough just to throw something on the market. You have to react on the different situations on the market. For example, let's talk about the retailers, fashion retailers, let's say, which are really, really huge sometimes from the global point of view, from the internationality point of view. But if you just go on to one country, they will have maybe one store in one country. They will be in 95 countries of the world, but one of the countries will have maybe one store and another countries will have 1,000 stores. If you have a huge costs, let's say, that you are offering to your customer for that one country with one store, you will probably lose the complete project. So this means you need the pricing from us and your pricing as well, which is meeting that demand to be flexible enough to cover the small countries with a small amount of stores, big countries with a big amount of stores, different retailing concepts, different ideas of the retailers, innovations, and all these topics that we discussed in the beginning. Flexible pricing, don't forget it. And even if I give you the best pricing of the world, you still have to sell that solution. And this is the big topic which we forget, to be honest, in the beginning, because we focused on the solution to provide the best possible solution, but we never focused on the sales of your solution. This is what is different in this partner program. So we start by providing the knowledge, we provide the innovative solution and so on, which is fulfilling the requirements. We give you the flexible pricing, which is enable you to compare the smallest market and the biggest market, and we support you through the sales. During the discussion today, I will explain you exactly more in detail how do we do that. But before we go into the sales topic, let me make a short overview about our partner program, what is actually on our side, what we are doing, and what is from our point of view on your side. And let's see, of course, already on the first viewing of this slide, you will see that there are lots of topics on our side, on less topics on your side. Is it exactly like that? It should be exactly like that, so this is fine. We are starting with provision of the knowledge. Probably for those who knows us, workshops that we are offering are very familiar to you. Usually those workshops are very expensive because we provide the legal consultancies and technical consultancies in order to explain you what has to be done. In our partner program, you get those kind of knowledge free of charge. So what we did actually, we recorded for all countries that we support all of those workshops, and we included those recorded workshops in development environment and in production environment. So this means if your developer has to learn what has to be done in the country, he has just to listen the parts or complete instructions which are recorded on the video. But later, if you start, it means if you are in the operation, maybe you will need to support your customer as well, but you will maybe forget what are the requirements of the country. No problem with that. Just go into that section, check the video, and you will understand immediately what has to be done. My colleague Roland will show you more details about that. But this is just a, let's say, video-based workshop which we provide. We provide more. The second topic is to provide you all needed documents to understand the fiscalization. And there are actually two types of documents that we provide. One set of documents is related to the legally, or let's say the other way around, publicly available legal documents, like, for example, laws or even technical specification, which are public by the countries and translated usually in English by us. Those documents you can enjoy, let's say, in the development environment and in the production environment. Additionally to that set of the documents, we provide the technical process-oriented documents, let's say, that we are using to develop our own software. And these documents have to be focused on the retail processes because we have to know how to run the discounts, for example, how to do returns, how to do typical sales, what to do with tips, and how to do water handling, and all this kind of stuff. These topics are usually not explained in the publicly available laws. These documents are created by us as we are developing software, let's say. And we are providing to you all those documents free of charge in development environment and in productive environment. Of course, this is related, both of those two topics are related to the knowledge, but then you need some tools to integrate, and you get a free access, of course, to complete development environment so that you are able to test and to learn about the fiscalization. Please don't forget, you didn't pay anything, not 1 cent, not $1 till that moment. This is very important because of the flexibility of your investment. And now we are coming to your point and your responsibility. You get, of course, all the documents. I'm sure that you have very capable developers, of course. They will be able to develop, and usually, I'm sure they will not need more than 2 weeks, including testing, to develop and integrate our solution. This is already great. After a couple of weeks, you know what has to be done. You have, of course, integration. And now we are starting with sales support. Within 20 years that we are on the market, we were able to create a long, or let's say, huge network of connections around the world. And if you integrate with us, we are willing, of course, to inform our network about your integration. I will give you more details about that because this is actually creating the leads for you. And even if not, it's creating the awareness about your solution, that you are existing and that there is something which is really great and which is covering the most of the POS related innovative topics. We include you, of course, in the list of the partners which are integrated already with us, and we publish that list too. Now it's up to you to sell it. But we understand that it's not that easy to sell because you don't have maybe that deep knowledge about the fiscalization. And for that, we have solution as well. And I will jump in a couple of seconds to the next slide to give you a view about this topic as well. You still didn't pay anything. Please don't forget that. In the moment as your customer signed the contract with you, and even not yet, but after that creates the first transaction, then you are paying to us, because then you are really you achieved, let's say your target to conquer the country, to be in the country, and to have the customer. Then we are expecting, of course, our part, and it's based on the transactions. Payments based on on transactions are very flexible for you, let's say, because they are enabling you to cover. Now remember the fashion customer from the beginning. To cover the small countries with just one store, that customer will pay just a couple of cents for a couple of transactions. And to cover the big countries, of course, then the costs are, of course, in that case, even bigger. So in this partner model, there is no pre-investment for you, and you pay as you are successful. Your success is our success. That's, remember from the beginning, our change of our view. On top, I want to do something, and I will have very soon a very interesting surprise for you. I cannot tell you in the moment what is that surprise, but I can promise you that it's a huge surprise, that you never saw that, but it will change the world and the way how you are dealing with the fiscalization, with requirements, and all these kind of topics. And it's related to AI. We spend lots of time and effort, let's say, to develop something, and I will make release of that during Eurosys, during my presentation. So I would really be happy if you can join me. I invite you with this presentation to join me during Eurosys and to see what is the surprise that I have for you. The second presentation that we will have is focused on the innovation. I told you in the beginning that we have 4 topics which are key for the success of the post-software vendors, and one of them was innovation. But usually, if we are talking about the fiscalization, everybody thinks that the fiscalization is something that is actually blocking and stopping the innovation. In this presentation, we will show you a totally different picture. You will see how actually fiscalization can help you and can help the complete countries to be more innovative and to be better. Join us for that. I'm sure it will be very interesting. Let's come back to the sales support, because I know that this is something which which is very interesting for you, for sure, maybe even most interesting for you, because every integration is just a half done, let's say, if you are not able to sell it. I told you in the beginning that we have we are working since 20 years on the huge network of connections around the world. Just to give you 2 numbers, we have more than 8,000 subscribers in our newsletter database. So this means there is a huge network of the possible leads, which are already qualified, because all these people want to get the newsletter from us because they are interested in a fiscalization topic and post topic, because most of them are retailers. And all those people will be informed about our partnerships. The second interesting huge number is related to our followers. Across all social networks which we have, we are able to utilize 30,000 followers. Yes, we are something like influencer in that area, for sure. But these are just numbers, of course, which we want to use for you as well. Let me give you another topics which are really interesting as well. We are regularly organizing something that we call retail talks. Actually, those are the events or live streams over several social networks at the same time, simultaneously. And in that event, we are talking about retail-specific topics. Why we are doing that? Because we want to show our competencies. And if you are our partner, I would be really, really happy to run some of those retail talks exactly with you and to talk about some of the topics that are very interesting for you. By that, we can show your competencies, we can show our competencies, and we can create your growth, and by that, our growth. I told you that sales process can be very complex, because if you are going to your customer, for example, in the head office of your country, and you have to talk about the country that you don't know, imagine that you are from France and you have to talk about Romania, it will be very difficult, of course, because your salespeople will not be able to talk about the fiscal requirements. But the retailer wants to know more details. In order to help you there, beside the videos and recorded workshops that I mentioned before, we are providing slide sets about all 27 countries that we are supporting, which are giving the sales overview for the salespeople. And Roland will show you that as well. This is great to have, I don't know, 5 to 10, up to 10 minutes presentation of the country overview, let's say, high level, of course, and by that to sell actually your solution. If this is not enough, just call us and we will join your meeting and help you with fiscal topics in your meetings as well. Okay, let me summarize a little bit the benefits that you have from that partner program, which is, from my point of view, already very impressive. First, you have a reliable and very innovative solution, which is covering the first 3 points that we discussed in the beginning, means innovation, flexibility in developing or implementing different concepts, and of course, all other aspects which are related to the architecture solution and so on, because it's cloud-based, it's a modern architecture. You can, by using our solution, you can easily fulfill, of course, the fiscal requirements, because we did a very good separation between business logic of the POS and fiscal requirements. Roland will tell you a little bit more about that as he presents the features and the functionalities. This is making the integration for you very easy, just around 2 weeks. And this is making the maintenance of the solution, your part of the solution, piece of cake, because you're already maintaining your own core part, and the fiscal part you don't need to maintain. That's what we are maintaining. By providing the information about our partnership and by utilizing the channels that we have, we can generate leads for you. Of course, we can try and we can push and we can do, and hopefully we will be successful. As soon as you are successful, as soon as you sell, only then you will pay us, not before. So no additional costs or pre-investments before that. Your success is our success. Don't forget that. I'm sure that you are asking now, or you have the question at least in your head, which countries do we cover? Because I'm talking about 27 countries. Yes, we have those countries covered. 14 of them are with finished solution. So we have already solution which you can apply and use in those 14 countries. 27 in total. So this means there is a difference from 13 countries. Why is that difference there? Very simple, because before we start implementing solution in one of those countries, our legal department, means the teams and legal specialists and the technical architects, analyze the country and create all those documents that I mentioned before. After this analysis is done, then we develop it. So this means we are always faster in the analysis of the country, and development is already, or roadmap is planned according to that. It's coming after that. But there is, of course, roadmap which we can provide you for all those details. So far, so good. Now, the last point which I want to touch in the moment is how to become, let's say, part of that great partner program, which is covering everything, technology, sales, and so on. Very simple. We implemented one of the countries, which we think it's very complex, actually, and this is France, as a base for your testing, let's say, for your development and test integration. These countries, why did we choose exactly France? Because we strongly, first, there is a certification in France, so, and that's additional complexity in the fiscalization world. But the second, the requirements of France are quite complex, and in many cases going deep into the POS application. If you are analyzing what we did, you will be able to analyze if our work is really separating clearly business logic from the POS and the fiscal requirements. If we are able to do that in France, we will be able to do this everywhere. So that's why France is very, very good country, let's say, to see how our solution can help you to integrate and to run faster. If you want to be part of that, just visit fiscal-cloud.cc, request access, and some from our people will contact you, of course, very soon and grant you access to the development environment. Don't forget, as I mentioned on the beginning, By getting access to the development environment, you will immediately get access also to all those knowledge base that I just mentioned, and Roland will show you a little bit later more details about that. Okay, so I would love to finish my presentation with a very small sentence. Hey guys, let's grow together. Thank you very much for your attention. If you have any questions, I'm there to answer them. I will stay here for sure and try in chat, of course, to answer, or later, maybe even like this. Now, we are going to the next part of this webinar.
Thank you, Darko, so much for explaining everything very well. And now our co-founder and board member, Roland Zaliszewski, will present every technical aspects about this partner program.
So, good afternoon, good morning, good evening. I don't know where we have people today. So I will correct you, Philip, because I cannot present all functionality and everything because there are a lot of things. So because it's not so much time, I will just show information and some details about important things which is somehow related to today's presentation. First of all, I will say a few words about the solution. So we actually have a cloud-based solution, which is a pure cloud platform based on the Azure infrastructure. It's a cloud application which is based on the cloud infrastructure. It's not a hosted application to the cloud, which provides the streamlined fiscal compliance integration and solution for any cash register different types for e-commerce, for standalone cash application, for mobile devices, for all different type of POS and cash register application. And it provides a fully automated daily business for the fiscalization and the retail sales management in fiscal countries. So actually the integration with our application is quite simple because we have a single point API access, which is actually responsible for communication in order to have a fiscalized transaction in any country. So in the simple words, when you integrate with this solution in one country, then you actually use also another countries in order to fiscalize transaction, which will provide you possibility to quickly have a lot of different countries implemented for fiscalization and localized. So for integration point of view, what's important that we have a cloud-based application, but of course we are aware that the many business types cannot work without offline presence. So actually our application provides two possibilities. So, and then the user can select one or another or even both type of the integration. So one, it's a pure cloud integration when the cash register application will communicate with the Azure cloud-based components. So without any kind of software which is installed on-premise. This is the one option, of course. And the second option is that we have one module which is actually have a same functionality like in a cloud-based integration, but it's installed locally. And this kind of architecture provides possibility to work without internet. So actually, when you integrate it with this, you're able to work when there is no internet connection. Once when the internet connection it's come back, then all synchronization of the data will be done automatically. And what is also important that PS and cash register application doesn't see the difference actually how it's integrated because it's completely the integration is same for both model, but only difference that in a second model you have a small installed component. So actually with this approach we can support any retail channel. So we started for the mobile cloud, embedded POS, e-commerce, standalone, and self-checkout POS application. Okay, so from a feature point of view, there are, of course, we are fulfill all country requirements for particular or selected countries. So actually, we have all legally required functionality, which has to be implemented at that country. With this, we provide help for the cash register application to reduce the integration time, and of course to reduce complexity of the localization of the POS application. And in addition to this functionality, there is also another functionalities which helps to make life easier. So since there is a lot of functionality, I will mention maybe a few of them. For example, one is that in our solution, when you have a one tenant or one subscription, you're able to be integrated with the different countries and also with the different devices within one country. For example, you can support different devices and different vendors in one country, even different type of fiscalization, and be integrated and have a different possibilities. Also, it's important that we have a unified API for different countries. So actually, if you go to another country, you will not need to integrate again. And also, we have possibility and support for different type of devices or different type of features, not just for fiscalization. Also, we're able to provide, for example, tax verification, payment. We open for other different functionality. So in addition to this functionality, we also have some functionality which we can say they are unique because they are not usually not presented in this kind of middlewares, and even I think they are not implemented with other companies. So for these unique features, we can say they are, for example, one of the important is that our interface is based on the OMG standards. OMG standards is actually successor of the ART retail standards. By implementing these standards, we are actually not have some proprietary interface. We are open and have a approved interface, which will be used in many other projects with many other different companies. So I think it's a quite in this moment unique because this standard will be published this year as a standard. We also provide a special support for multiple different software versions. There are different approaches where the upgrades to new version of the software can be quite smooth. Also, what is important that we are also provide possibility to separate databases. For example, one retailer can have own database and even put it in own environment. And then what is also very important, and this is somehow important also for today's presentation, we are including a lot of modern advanced multimedia and AI technologies in order to make an integration and using of the software much more easier. And I will show you some examples how you can easily integrate with our solution by using this kind of documentation and the learning tools. For example, we have, first of all, we have all information what you need about country. And if you select one country, you are able to get all information from fiscal requirements up to technical information for this country, what different terms are used, how they are managed, how they are counted. And then later on, also you have information about how to integrate with our solution with examples of the transactions. Then, in addition to that, we also have, for example, possibility to use a video content. So actually, if you want to prepare for one country, you're able to check and see Here is the example video.
Okay, now that we understand what kind of fiscalization system is implemented in France.
Actually, you complete what you need information to be integrated in one country from the legal technical point of view. You also able to know. And also Darko, for example, mentions...
Roland, we didn't see it because you are just showing the slides. You didn't switch to the screen.
I was so focused.
I was starting the presentation, so maybe
just a second.
Sure.
I was focused on the content and forget to click a button. Just a second. Just a second. Share screen. And screen.
Yes, this is much better.
It's better?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Let's
right.
see it again. So first of all, I'll show documentation. So for one country, we have, as example, just a second. Just close the... So for one country, can you see the screen? I suppose yes. Darko, you are online.
Yes, we can see the screen. It's okay. Just now it's away, so we don't see it now. But just a couple of seconds before we saw it. Yes, now we see it. Perfect.
Okay,
you can go ahead.
If I move quick, it looks like it's maybe not shown. So first of all, we have a complete technical documentation from general information about one country, for example, what we need to do, and with the fiscal requirements, which kind of functionality we need to implement in that country, how the receipt it looks in this country, all specific terms and information about fiscalization for that country, and with example of the transactions which has to be sent to our system to be fiscalized. In addition to that, we have also video material where you're able to have a complete legal and technical information about particular country. So it's provided for all countries that we support. And basically you can select and see, for example, video about specific topic.
Okay, so another key aspect of French fiscalization system,
which is related to this functionality or legal requirements. Then we have a link of different documentation. For example, also Darko mentions, we have, for example, country presentation, which also provide possibility to sales to have a basic information about countries with all general information about fiscalization and the general rules, what has to be implemented. And this will help to sales, for example, of the cash register application providers to know which kind of functionality has to be implemented on a high level, and also what are the, for example, main complex issues and topics which has to be done and finished or localized in that selected country. Once, since you have all information, once you integrate it, then you're able to use our solution. And for example, we can show you a few functionality, like we have a dashboard, then we have different kind of reports. One of interesting reports is a ERP conversion, which provides possibility to check and compare sales between fiscalization and the ERP or cash register. We also able to see information about sales for particular company, from multiple companies for selected workstation, for example. Then we able to also check transactions to see, for example, activity log. So every important system information which is important for fiscalization are logged, and you can in an easy way find what is happening and check about what is happened in the system. So I think this is all what I want to show you for this presentation. It was not so much time because there are a lot of functionality.
Maybe just to add something. You wanted to say something more, or can I add something?
No, I showed everything what I prepared.
So I want to just give you one feature, let's say, which is actually my favorite feature, and this is unified error handling. And why is that my favorite feature? Because we used to work in many different countries with different solutions for many years, and the developers were always angry because there are different error codes in the different countries for different situations, and those error codes are usually based on the systems that are used in those countries. For example, if you have a fiscal printer in Bulgaria, that printer probably has a different error codes than the printer in Romania. And developer has to learn, of course, if he is integrating directly those printers, he has to learn all those error codes country by country. And in this kind of solution, the unified error handling is like that we understand the language of the printer, and you just have to understand our language. So for you, the same error number will be, for example, paper jam in both countries, although internally and in the local language, let's call it like that, it will have a different error numbering. So there are lots of that kind of smart features inside, which we learned within 20 years based on the many integrations that we had. Okay, so I saw that there are some questions, 2 questions basically, which we could answer, and I need a little bit more time to explain them. So I would like to touch them now. There was one question, just a second to find it, from Carl. Is the partner program only about fiscalization or also about other localization, such as how to post-receipt should look like, invoices, register reports, and more? This is very interesting topic and very interesting questions. The fiscalization is actually set of the rules, which is in many cases also regulating how the receipt should look like, or which reports you have to create at the end of the day, at the end of the week or month or year or whatever, how certain reports should look like, and so on and so on. So this means fiscalization, we can call it, or I think from my feeling point of view, 80% of the localization is covered usually by the fiscal laws. There are certain additional laws, like for example, customer protection law, which is defining how the receipt should look like, or maybe which additional elements should be over there, or how some processes in the retail should look like. But we touch those laws as well because they are correlating or touching the fiscal environment as well. The other points which are usually for the localization important are payment, of course. Payment is always separated, and it's always depending on the country itself, defined by the banks, of course, in that country, and the translation. So there are actually 3 big areas: fiscalization with some additional laws, like, for example, customer protection; localization of the language, means translation; and then, of course, the last point, which I just mentioned, are the payment topics. This is what is law actually requiring, or the country requiring. But then there are certain rules which are not written, let's say, because, for example, these are kind of best practices in certain countries, because the mentality of the consumers is like this and like that, and they are expecting this or that. These kind of topics are, of course, optional, and they are not covered by the fiscalization. So I like to say that around 80% of the local requirements are based on the fiscalization, and by that covered by us. Receipt for sure, invoices for sure, reports for sure, and so on and so on. I hope this is okay for you as an answer. And the second answer was related to Android application. Yes, I started to explain this as well. So if the centralized fiscal solution is allowed in the country or not is strongly depending on the law. There are countries where you still have to use the fiscal printers, for example. Romania, Bulgaria, or other countries as well, even in Italy. So there are some countries where you have to find a way how to control those local hardware, let's say. But there are also countries where you are not able to find that way because you don't simply have the network-based hardware, because they are still attached to the old-fashioned serial interfaces. In that way, you have to find something or different architecture, let's say, or to install some components somewhere in the store that then communicate with those hardware. So if the centralized solution is enough, let's say, in the fiscal environment or allowed in the fiscal environment, is strongly depending on the laws. In 80% of the countries, we see trend, let's say, that the countries are moving towards centralized based solutions. We are moving towards software fiscalization, where the software is, let's say, the basic requirement for the fiscalization. And the communication to the fiscal authority is more and more real-time online. And then it doesn't matter if the POS itself is sending the data to the fiscal authority or some components in between, like fiscal cloud or something else. But this is like a trend that we see. Yeah, that's basically the answer to those questions. Let me see.
I think we have another question, yes, here from Justin. Will you be showing the commercial proposition?
What do you mean? You mean probably the question is probably how expensive is our solution? I can tell you, no problem at all. So there is, as I told you at the beginning, the concept of the payment is payment per transaction. So this means one transaction, or the price of one transaction is 0.01 euro. So this means 1 cent. This is not bad.
Okay, I think that was the answer to Justin's question, because he just typed exactly thanks. And Richard also told us that I'd like to grow with you by sharing all I've created.
Maybe I can take that. Sorry, Philip, to interrupt you, because Richard is very good specialist since many, many years in the fiscal area. He was guy who was working on the architecture of the arts data model, which is very complex and today used in, I think, 80% of the retail environment. So this guy knows exactly what he's talking about. So if you need any kind of help, if you need any kind of support regarding knowledge, this is like a walking encyclopedia. Trust me. So Richard, yes, for sure.
Also, Carl is asking, is the price including Fiscal Cloud?
Yes, there is just one price per transaction. That's it. Everything what you saw, everything what we discussed before, all the support and everything, that's it. That's inside.
Okay. Oh, Richard leaving the comment now. It will be hard for me to leave my office. My head has gotten too big. Okay, so I think that was all for today. But I want to tell you that if you have any other questions, feel free to send us an email, and be sure to follow us on our social media. We are on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. Also, feel free to visit our portal and to visit, of course, our website. I think this was very interesting topic, and I think that we heard very important things today, and I hope you are satisfied with all the answers. As I said, if you have any other questions, feel free to email us. Thank you guys for being here once again, and I hope to see you soon.
There is a question regarding presentation. Yes, we will send it. No problem at all. We can send it.
Okay.
Last minute question.
Last minute question.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Bye.
Have a nice day. Bye.